Go with this one. Hello and welcome back to another week of Riled Up. I'm Dan.
And I'm Andrew, a player.
And I'm a collector slash seller. I guess mostly seller these days. I really should just stick with seller. But
I mean, I'm like a slash collector as well. Maybe that's just more of like my own. Like I just like to watch the numbers and guess at numbers and be right about numbers.
you do like to be right, and boy, have you been a bit. Let's get you riled up this week.
Well, first of all, we didn't really get to talk about Living Legend too much the last time we talked, and I want to talk about how much Bravo Star of the show was there and how he was represented. But then also, there's so much market stuff to talk about, just for the simple fact that, like, even as a player, you got to know about the market, because if you don't have something and then the price goes up, maybe you should have bought it a month ago.
Always buy low. That's my big policy. So picking up lots of deals. I mean, I was picking up a bunch of stuff in preparation for Hunted. Are you picking up for more? The prepare for the Hunted. Are you looking at the Living Legend format expanding? What's got your attention the most?
So whenever Living Legend format first started going, a little bit earlier this year, the Starvo list did not have Felling the Crown, and it seemed like the traditional wisdom online was most people were talking like, oh, if you were to give Felling the Crown go again, you've got to put a card on the bottom yourself because the effect's symmetrical. But you know what? If it's the only attack that you play, or sometimes the turn even works out when you use the symmetrical effect on yourself, and I wouldn't recommend it. I mean, it does make you negative a lot, but the deck, the deck that actually wins stuff now, Michael Hamilton's deck and Lucas Oswald's deck and anybody else we look at later, they're just felling the crowns, felling the crowns, felling the crowns. And then also, the really sick part is how many Jarl cards were in it, because they just printed some ice cards that actually have a 3 block on them instead of a 2. So everybody's like, hot damn, time to get some good blocking ice cards. Because, I mean, that's really all you want to do with the ice cards, is either block with them or pitch them for the hammer.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the cards I started picking up. I picked the widespread trilogy there for Vin's set. And yeah, so far I think all the foils have doubled, and then like one of them, I can't remember. I should have looked at I should have re-looked right before this. But one of them went double, one of them went up 50%, and the other one's still kind of the same. But yeah.
So let me guess. It was Annihilation doubled, the red, and then the yellow one was like 50%, and then the red one was just whatever.
I think which one's Ruin? Ruin is the one that
Ruin's
I think is
the red one.
Yeah, that's the one doing like nothing. Yeah, so I think you got that pretty spot on.
Yeah. I mean, the red one is nice that it only costs 2, but the effect is like kind of balls.
Yeah, I kind of went into it thinking that, whenever a new card hits meta, right, some gaps have to be opened, something needs replaced. And I did kind of assume it'd be one of those 3. So, yeah, I bet you the red one drops. Ruin probably drops out of decks, and then you see that get replaced.
If you gotta lose a card, you would probably lose Ruin before you would lose, like, any of the ones that like make Rune Chance or anything like that. But yeah, Vin's set went from a deck that only people like Craig over at 03 Drop would play. It's like you're like a diehard stan that's like trying to do something cool, or you just are not playing Vin's set. And now, with all the hype around that new card, it's I mean, as soon as we saw the new card, we knew it was gonna be Vin's set season, because as soon as people think a deck is actually playable, they'll start buying it like it's playable, and that's whenever you see the rainbow foils disappear, because generally the people who are out there buying singles to make their brand new competitive deck they found out about. They like foils.
Yeah, I kind of was expecting the extended arts to do. Oh, the extended arts, I think, for all of like the widespreads are like $60 a piece right now. So those are doing pretty well. I think those are mostly up, because I do remember looking at them a bit to like buy those, and those, because people do love the bling, right? But I settled for rainbow foil. That's like my middle ground.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly, hopefully that they just move. I would just throw them right on the market and sell them because, that very well could settle very soon. I still think they'll be up, but maybe not as crazy as they were before. And also, as much as I do think that she's going to be meta playable now, I can't imagine a ton of people actually wanting to do that play style all the time. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean the cards aren't so expensive. I mean, a doubling for those just puts them at like $5-6, right? So it's not like it's a cost prohibitive deck. One of those decks where you're spending a ton of money on them. So I don't know. I feel like the more budgety CC decks have some more stay around power. Because then, yeah, like you said, you get a gaggle of decks and you just swap between them. And especially, yeah, I don't know. See how meta switches up.
So, as for the hunted, those cards that have been going up, first of all, Concealed Blade was never a card that was that cheap, I don't think. I think maybe like whenever Outsiders first came out, it was probably like $2 or $3, but that sucker's up to $14, which I'm assuming is up, but because I just don't remember it being quite that hype. And then I told you about Knives Out, but like, what other card is also up the same amount Knives Out was, and I didn't expect it? Stab Wound.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Stab Wound and Knives Out are both almost $7. And Stab Wound, so Knives Out, I kind of figured because, she's going to have multiple daggers and they're going to come in for 2, right? But I guess people really think that she's going to go super wide with these daggers, maybe having like if she actually can get like 3 or 4 dagger hits, bleed out, or Stab Wound could be really good because it deals X damage when it hits, where X is the number of times that daggers have hit this turn. So especially if she's like, if she's able to swing, I mean, hell, even if she only swings 2 daggers in the turn, her ability is going to let her recycle daggers. So she's going to flick knives, and that counts as a dagger hitting as well. So Stab Wound has an on-hit effect of like a red Electrify, essentially.
Oh man, I might have to see what I got for those in the vault. Yeah,
Stab Wound very well may be in your vault because that card, hot garbage. I didn't even think about it. I thought about Knives Out before I thought about Stab Wound.
Oh no. Yeah, I'll take a look. I mean, Knives Out are still going up. They were over $6 last time I looked at them. I'm not sure if they were. Should look today.
They're like 60-ish. They're almost 7.
Okay.
Now, let's go now.
Oh yeah, you're a robot. Knives Out 650. That's pretty impressive. Yeah, I still have half of my stack of Knives Out, so I gotta move those. I was thinking of probably putting on another 10. Which I'm just telling y'all because he is out, I think. Let's go back to.
I think it did because that's it. You're off.
Yeah, you're completely frozen up, and you're just coming in every once in a while.
I'm gonna hang up and join again.
Okay.
Will that do anything?
If it's a Discord
Or
problem,
wait,
maybe. Oh, you're fixing.
Oh,
You're fixing. You're stabilizing.
yeah, okay, I guess it's just done now. Yeah, so I did just get a new TV for Christmas, so maybe the streaming is going extra hard to a 65-inch TV.
Yeah, you need a bigger tube.
Does a bigger
Yeah.
TV suck down the internet harder? Is that?
Yeah, they do actually. Well, at least the 4K ones do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean that might be what it is because all the stuff is like auto. What do you call it? Auto quality.
Oh yeah, yep. That'll happen. Time to up that internet.
I have the maximum in my area. Like, I can't go faster. In fact, I complained about not getting the entire gigabit because it was like between 700 and 800. And
Yeah.
they're like you're bottlenecked like at like the node level. Like nobody in this area can get faster than what I'm getting.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who gets more than 80% of the internet they pay for.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, you know, aside from when I turn into a robot for a few seconds there, it's usually fine.
Yeah,
In
I
fact,
think it's the upload I think that gets you.
yeah, it could be.
Yeah, because you're doing video out. But yeah, don't even get me started about internet pricing. Well, I had to help my grandma out. Those Verizon crooks were quick game. She's had the same internet for 18 years. She has 1 megabyte down, a half a megabyte up. Do you know how much Verizon charges her every month for that?
For like, what is that friggin' DSL speeds?
It is
Like,
the DSL. Yeah. DSL modem.
Only because I have such a low opinion of these people, I am going to guess a number that I swear to God, if it's higher, my head's gonna explode. Were they charging her 200 a month?
No, not that bad. It was still $80 though. 80 for
I mean, that's still awful.
1
for
megabyte
DSL,
down. Yeah.
Because you can go to Comcast and just tell them I don't even want a bundle. Like, just give me like, I don't know, like the medium internet plan, and it's like $80, and it sure as shit's faster than DSL.
Yeah, I'm moving her over to 100 down. No bundle is 45 a month after promotion.
Wild.
Yeah. So I've got some words for Verizon during my cancellation phone call. Yeah.
No, but
No.
I just I've downloaded the same game twice now, and at least Path of Exile downloads fast on this internet. You know, I'm not super worried about the upload. It's just now I can't like merge my accounts together. I tell you what, New Zealand is just like the peak of culture right now. The only thing I even care about is Flesh and Blood and Path of Exile 2.
Makes sense. But we were talking about, we're looking at some spec cards, like Knives Out. What was the other one?
Stab Wound, which is crazy, because like I said, it's such a horrible card that I didn't even consider it to go up. And like, if it's $7, you have got to list them and get rid of them, because I don't even think it. Like, it might be playable, but I don't. Man, that is not a $7 card.
Yeah, I'll have to look through my inventory right after this. I don't have it handy. But what cards? Okay, so obviously Hunted. Well, there's been no news this past week between this episode and last one. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all on holiday.
Yeah, so I was really hoping we would get every Arachne released. I don't think we did. Oops, let me just cover your face.
No, we're not even gonna get everything before the set's out.
Oh shit.
Like, they'll probably give us like all the commons and rares just in little drops, but like aside from a few majestics, we'll have to wait until the premiere to see a lot of Majestics.
Well, I mean, we got 1, 2, 4, and 5. So we're just missing 2 of those so far. Which I think there's what, like two more major rounds of spoilers before Prague.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think we're gonna at least get all the demi heroes.
Oh yeah, we have all the demi heroes now.
Do
that's
we?
Actually, that's
wait.
actually one reason I'm glad we didn't get to it last week, because we didn't have all of them last week, and we have all of them now.
Oh, do we? I only have 4 of them saved. I only found 4 of them.
Just go to fabrary.net. The Fabrary's the perfect spoiler compilation area.
I'm just lazy and realize I just scroll through the subreddit. I'm like, well, come on, subreddit, give me news today. And usually it does pretty solid. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I just forgot to download these. These came out, I think, within like hours of us finishing up our last stream.
Yeah, I think Trapdoor came out right after. I don't know what I expected Trapdoor to be, but I didn't expect it to be literally traps, even though that's like I should have, like, because LSS loves just having on the nose heroes. So as soon as we saw Trapdoor, we should have been like, yep, that's gonna be traps. But there's not even that, like, yes, there are traps for assassins to use, but it's like Blood Rot trap, Frailty trap, Inertia trap. We'll probably get some more traps this set, obviously, because you're going to be able to just, you know, transform into Trapdoor randomly in Limited, so I can assume that they will give us something to search up.
Oh wait, why are these ones the non-Marvel ones? Huh. Maybe that's why I didn't save them. Okay, let me throw 5 in, or not try 5. Now I have 5 with 6. Oh yeah, Trapdoor. I do kind of really like the Trapdoor one. So I gotta tell you, I have been going through a lot of my Magic Neon
Kamigawa?
Yeah. And I'm looking through all those cards, and I'm like, man, there's so much, so much overlap. Which, I mean, it works. I don't know. I really loved the set when it came out. I think it wasn't very liked at the time, and then it kind of like, now everyone's like, oh, wait a sec. That whole generation that, like,
Neon Dynasty had such like a weird like market around it, because that was like everybody hated collector boxes. Nobody, you know, I mean, I guess everybody always hates collector boxes, but it was like mega negative at that point. And they had what was it, the Neon Rarity, where you could actually pull like this new neon ink treatment that they did, and apparently those are like, I think there was only like a certain number of them, and whenever they reprinted it, that's sort of like it was like they made like the normal players angry, and then by only like putting the cool stuff in the collector's boxes, and then they reprinted the collector's boxes and made all the other people angry. So I don't even know what's going on.
Yeah. All right, well, let's just go through. I think before we get to the 6, we can do a quick look over of the mentor. I love that we have a mentor, because I like the old mentors. Like,
I love that we have a mentor that's good.
Yeah, that's not just like a waste of space in your arsenal. That's
well, not to mention that this guy is like, okay, like at the very worst, it blocks 4. So like on its face, its worst thing that it can be is pretty okay. So like if you're talking about something flexible, that it's like if you absolutely need to block with this guy, like if somebody comes in with some dominate and you know, this is better. You know, this has got block 4. There's not a lot of block 4s, you know, that are free. And And then the actual effect is great. Like if you're actually gonna get to use it, it's really, really good.
So what? Let me think. So what cards? Let's like in a spec perspective, right? If you see this mentor, are there any cards that immediately jump to mind, or are you thinking it's mostly just gonna be supported
So
by cards in the set?
So the problem is that the best contract cards are already expensive because it's surgical extraction, leave no witnesses, and then eradicate isn't anything. But I mean, maybe if you wanted to look at like rainbow foils of the rares that have contracts, um, those might be okay. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I don't think that this particular card is going to move markets, especially because like the blitz just doesn't matter. Like the amount of people that buy these cards, uh I think that this particular card will be nicely priced. I actually I'm really interested to know, and I actually wonder if they may have put this mentor in as like their own little test. Like if I was LSS, this is actually a great test for how popular is Blitz really. Because if this hand that pulls the strings, if Blitz isn't popular and nobody likes Blitz, this is a majestic that can I'm assuming that they're gonna make a marble of this. Which that might be incorrect, but it does look like the type of thing that you could have in like a normal foil, and then like this art already kind of looks like a marble, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, because this is what all the mentors originally all had like that full card art like treatment,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons I really like them in the first place.
And
So
I'm curious because if this comes out and it's $20, then we know that people don't really care about Blitz. If this comes out and it's like $100, then we know people actually care about Blitz on some level. Maybe it's not the same people, maybe it's different people. Because I don't think that there are enough just straight up Arachne fans slash collectors that will push this price up. It will have to be people that are like, I want to make a Blitz Arachne deck, and that's what's gonna drive that.
yeah, you see a lot of memes about people talking about like old Arachne, like old Arachne's probably never gonna LL. Everyone's been waiting on old Arachne support, and then we just got new Arachne, right? Like
those kind of takes do actually rile me up.
Yeah.
Like if you're out there listening and you're mad that there's a new Arachne and you think that the old Arachne deserves more love, you don't make any sense to me. The old Arachne can play all of the same cards except for the Chaos cards, which is gonna make the Chaos version of him an entirely different deck. And honestly, you people out there that are playing Arachne Huntsman, you all are playing fatigue decks. Like, you're playing decks that block and play fair and grind. You don't want to play Chaos and roll dice anyway. So why don't you just take the good cards that are going to come and add them to your deck and stay like, oh, well, this isn't a meta deck, but it's still playable. Like, why does your specific deck have to get the specific tools? Like, if you like the character, why don't you just appreciate that there's a different kind of character? Because if you like the way that deck plays, it's not getting any worse because of these cards. It will objectively only get better because it will have access to more tools, and I guarantee you some of them will be very good in Huntsman. It just has to be, because they're gonna print good cards, and then good cards that do good things go in any deck. And I will bet that it's not just Chaos cards.
Yeah, and well, actually, let's pull up the next. Well, let me pull up Marionette here. Marionette.
Marionette definitely is one of the most badass arts.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of this, and you know, let me see if I can resize just this one.
Trying not
I
to
want to make
recess
it.
that window.
I want to make it just even bigger. It's so beautiful because you're talking about the dice and everything, and when we're looking back at like what we were making guesses about. I think we guessed Chaos's dice, which isn't probably that hard of a guess, right? I mean, it's the most consistently inconsistent way I think to do Chaos in a trading card game. We went pretty hard on Symbiote. And I'm still not sure if it is symbiote or not. Like I'm still not
I don't
sure
think
if we're
not symbiote. It's not symbiote. So
no.
Arachne is definitely Arachne is definitely some kind of multiple form. I'm not sure if it's personality, but it might be, at least multiple forms. I just think Arachne is a shapeshifter. Because this is not like, I mean, Funnel Web does not look like a person that has like Funnel Web and the Mentor specifically look more like the spider people that I think maybe like, sort of like how in X-Men Mystique, her like normal form is like the blue person that she is. So like, what if Arachne as a shapeshifter, his normal form is that weird like spider thing, like the spider armed ladies that are on the Mystic Assassin mask, Recurring Nightmares. And then so he's got these different forms, some of them more humanoid because they shapeshift, and then some of them actually more spider because Funnel Web needs to have multiple swords and multiple arms. And to be honest with you, now that I'm looking at all these effects, 5 out of 6 of them have an effect that gives an attack +3 in reactions for discarding a card. So like 9 times out of 10, like Arachne Marionette, like if you mark somebody, the next turn they're getting +3. So every mark is like they can turn a junk hand into a better hand. Because one of the worst things that can happen to an assassin deck that is aggro is that you draw a hand that's just like all attacks that you can't really like pump. Like whenever I'm trying to play new and I really want to smack somebody, you got to have like 1 attack and then like 3 reactions. And this is like, if you've got a brick hand that's just like 3 attacks, at the very least you're going to be able to discard a card and get a +3 out of one of them. Just like lets you repurpose 1 card into damage. I actually do think that Marionette is going to be pretty solid.
Do you think that they're going to make all right, so you have to have like the 6, right? Agents of Chaos.
Yeah, you have whenever you play as Marionette, it is you must have all 6 of the tokens with them because the whole thing is that they change.
Well, that's where I was wondering. Do you think they're going to treat them as tokens where they're not counted into the deck? Or do you think there's you don't think there's maybe like a trade-off? Yeah.
No, there's no trade-off. They're tokens. We already know that for sure.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, because that would almost be an interesting experiment as well, is trading off instead of like just deckhand, right? Or not deckhand, instead of just hand size, right? With like intelligence, if you had to trade off like library slot or deck slots for certain heroes who are maybe more powerful and they just get less cards.
I feel like that would, to be honest, I think that might be like slippery slope design space. And that's because we already have a situation where the game can, like, you can have some bad matchups and you can have some good matchups. And basically they just want to have, like, that little bit of like deck instability, so that the meta, so like you always have to make meta calls along with deck building calls. And I think that if they tried to balance a hero by saying this hero is going to have less deck building diversity, maybe they would overtune it, because then they would, I don't know. I just think I think that would end up being overtuned, just because if you have less options, then you have to have more options that are inherently viable, and the more you even out the matchup spread, the better the deck gets.
Yeah. I don't know. You're always talking about them trying to bust that matrix, so I'm just trying to think of like that would probably give you some ability to do that. I'm gonna actually, I had originally just downloaded all these cards to swap them out individually, but I think I'm just gonna use February directly. So I can just, then I think I can just click it, and then let me
I actually think it's kind of funny that I bet that in sealed, Marionette or Web of Deceit is not even going to be the default. The way that this set looks, I bet if you're playing sealed in the hunted, you're probably kind of defaulted to solitary confinement, because the guaranteed go again is really, really good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out. Oh, I was really just surprised that the young hero was back to token. It kind of really irritates me that they bounce between common and token as the designation for like hero cards, or like even some token cards, right?
So young heroes are always tokens, and then adult heroes are majestics now.
Yeah, now, but not for like 12
well, you
of
were
the sets
just looking.
that I
You were just looking at outsiders. So outsiders, adult heroes were still tokens, even though they were shorted like they're majestics.
I don't think the tokens were shorted. That's not listed as shorted on the February site.
I don't know. It just seemed like there was not as many of them. Like Outsiders was the first set that I realized that there was less of the adult heroes than the young heroes, because that was one of the ones that I opened the most of. I opened 4 cases of Outsiders, and I think I maybe got one like single-sided Uzuri adult.
Yeah, I'm actually.
A lot of it, right?
I haven't, but I've got a bunch of bulk of it. I just listed a couple. I was just telling you, I listed a couple thousand Outsiders this week on my store, and I was trying to think through my token allotment. And yeah, there does definitely sometimes feel like less of some than others, but it was like a weird blend of, there was young like front backs as well, because I think Riptide and Uzuri I think are on the same side, and then there's like 2 other youngs, but then there's also like adult youngs and then adults, and then I don't know, it was a weird mix up of all of them. So I don't know. I really wish they'd take the adult heroes out of the majestic slot. It just really devalues the whole slot so much.
It's not in the majestic slot though. Isn't it in the
expansion?
Yes.
I don't think
so. Isn't it in the expansion slot?
Oh, yeah, I guess technically it is. Which is even worse. It's so much.
Yeah, for destroying the value in the slot that you could have pulled. Yes, it is worse.
Yeah. It's like,
but it is not going to ruin the draft.
No, it's like, oh, you want an $85 card? Ooh, how about a 20-cent card foil?
Oh, they didn't even print her in foil, and you have the rainbow foil is a promo.
Yeah, next time I get a mail call, actually I got a huge stack of cards to do a mail call on. Thinking that the holidays aren't technically over yet till after New Year's, but I got a bunch of foil heroes in. I really love foil hero cards and promos. Hero promos. I don't know. It was like my bread and butter for a while there.
I wonder which ones you bought because you don't like to buy expensive things. So.
No, no, of course not. I definitely lost the Icelanders.
Ooh,
I don't know. You
Icelander.
say that. Yeah.
Icelander could come back though. I mean, because Icelander is unironically really good.
Right.
And
And she's blowing up in Commoner right now. So
yeah, true.
yeah. So who doesn't want a shiny? Yeah.
And there's no living legend for Commoner. You can use that rainbow foil Icelander forever.
Yeah, Commoner. I was reading today, not to get too off topic, but someone was talking about how like they got introduced to the game through Commoner, and how much more useful it is to be introduced to the game through Commoner than it is through Blitz decks. And I'm wondering.
So Commoner and Blitz decks is not that far off. I mean, Commoner lets you use rares for weapons, so you can have stronger weapon slot. But other than that, you've got a more cohesive deck because there's definitely some strong stuff you can do in Commoner if you like tailor the deck with the best commons. But I don't know. I like Blitz decks because they still kind of put some yellows in there. They put bad cards in there. Like how?
Yeah.
If you're just learning the game, like I feel like I don't know.
I think from a learning perspective, from what people were discussing, was that it has a lot to do with Blitz isn't quite as balanced currently as like CC is, and Commoner brings in quite a leveling of that field, and it does kind of come down to more skill than it does money, which is kind of a always been a bit of a complaint with CC. So
well, I would say
yeah.
I would venture to say less. It does test skill. I think regular Blitz tests skill on some level too, just for the same way that Magic tests skill. You still have to know what to do, when to do it, so that you can win the games you're supposed to win, right? Just because there's variance and you can lose a lot and have non-games doesn't mean that having the skill to win the games you can win doesn't mean anything, right?
Yeah, but I think when you're introducing a couple new people or a new person to the game, like having two people like on the same level, pretty much, it like really helps. You don't want to get totally spanked to like such a degree that it feels like you're just not understanding the game. Like I wouldn't want to get like.
I still think you would have to tailor the decks, like because you can't just pit any two Commoner decks against each other. And the Blitz decks are closer to being able to just pit any two Blitz deck against each other. Like they are balanced within their own sets, but as long as you don't get too crazy with like arcane damage, they can play across sets decently as well, because they're just not good. They're just fine. They are decks with cards in it that you learn to play the game with. And that's like the leveling of the power level, I think whenever you're playing Commoner, you still should, if you're going to introduce the game to somebody, like have specific decks in mind. You're not going to want to play Icelander into them. You're going to want to play like, Guardian versus Brute, something simple.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how. But I think with like competitive stuff, focusing more on Commoner alongside Living Legend, I don't know. We'll have to see. What's his name? Carol was talking. People asking like, are you bouncing it all towards Commoner? And he kind of laughed it off and was like, no, not really. And understandably, yeah, you don't really need to, right? It's kind of just like a fun format, but it would be crazy to see the format blow up enough where it's not just. I mean, it's hitting metagame minutes, all right? Like we've got a big, clear, popular interest in Commoner.
Well, I think that they need to support it. I just don't think that they need to think about it too hard when they're printing cards, because if they just keep printing cards that is balanced around a limited set, they they will come out with good and bad commons that will slowly make its way into the commoner meta. Like it's better to me that they don't think about it, because I think a lot of times, well, if you're looking at Classic Constructed and Blitz, they've got an eagle eye on the meta, and they've got an eagle eye on, you know, what is doing too good, and they might ban stuff. And they very infrequently ban for commoner. They banned stubby hammerers, and they banned minnowism, right? Or is it belittle or minnowism? I'm not sure which half of that they banned. I think it was belittle, because a common that can search up a card to be able to pitch to get extra resources is just the kind of thing that it's like every deck became a belittle deck because that amount of advantage was just too crazy to leave on the table. So they banned that. And belittle minimalism is a combo from Monarch, which I think is, honestly, it's got some wild stuff in it. I don't think that they'll print something like belittle minnowism again. Specifically, like I think that is the amount that they pay attention to commoner, that they know that they cannot print a searcher at common, or it will just take over the metagame.
Yeah, which, yeah, I mean, it was kind of a questionable decision in the first place, probably. But
Well, this game, once again, a lot like Yu-Gi-Oh! If a card lets you plus, it is good. Any kind of search. That's why Zen was so broken, because you know, you just look at that ability and it's like, this is Katsu, except you don't lose a card. What the fuck?
yeah. So, and back end. Yeah, back to Arachne. Oh, sorry, I was about to go on another tangent, but no, we're gonna stay on topic today, maybe. Or did we go over Arachne? Oh yeah, that's what we were just talking about. So
Web of Deceit is gonna be, they're gonna be fine in limited. I just think that the guaranteed go again is just better than this go again if it hits. I mean, the plus one's good. I don't know. We'll have to see. It's really hard to judge what a limited format's going to be like until you play it. I don't like conditional effects too much, because a lot of times things that give your opponents choices allows them to make the right choice. And every time you allow your opponent to make the right choice, they're beating you at your own game. And I would much rather something that doesn't give them a choice and just offers me a clear path to victory. Because they can do something to make sure that it doesn't hit and it doesn't go again on its face. They know I have to make it hit. And they can stop it.
Yeah. And I know we're getting this more like Dynasty style. Well, no, almost like the Dynasty, you know, the
I have a
look or frame.
I'm gonna call this out. I think so. I wanted to bring up that I thought that it was very awesome that they moved the art card to the pre-release, like the hunted cold foil.
Oh yeah.
But I think I think it was the monkey paw situation, because, you know, I really think LSS likes a little troll. They like to take the tiniest bit of the piss.
Yeah.
Because I think that they moved the art card cold foil to pre-release, and they're gonna put the marked cold foil in the cold foil slot.
Oh,
so
I would be okay with that, though. I
yeah,
think that makes so much more sense.
It'll still be a cold foil token that'll probably, you know, it'll certainly be better than the art card, but I guarantee you people probably bitch about that too. Oh, get the cold foil token.
Yeah, but I don't know. But even though they want the Dynasty feature here, you know, I was thinking back about when I was, like I said, I was going through Outsiders today and looking at like that old what do they call it? Papyrus treated cards, like with the codexes. I would love to see a papyrus treated like contract card or something like that.
Oh yeah, like Like, oh man, if the gem packs, it would be so good if like the hunted gem packs were like, oh, you could get leave no witnesses and surgical extraction in the papyrus. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, or even just like a wanted poster, because there, let me see, was it a card or not a
It was
card yet?
one of the draconic cards that had the wanted sign that we realized was like
It's
translatable.
Yeah, it's not currently on. Okay, it's not currently on a card.
Yeah, I think it was maybe just like some background art from one of the articles then.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, because but even that, like just that card and papyrus treatment, I think would or just make it like a wanted poster, kind of like Outlaws of Thunder Junction. Have you seen like the Magic wanted
Yeah.
posters? Yeah, something like that with some papyrus, I think would be cool. I mean, I don't think they'll do it. I think they're gonna make. I'm gonna just be a bit of a Debbie Downer here. I really think too much of one hero is being forced into like the Marvel slots and the potential money slots, to the point where I think we're just getting an uprising again. I'm really not
I,
happy that
I
these are all Marvels.
Yeah. So I mean, you got so you got 8 marvels are all for Arachne. And let's say it's actually probably 10.
Yeah, because we're definitely gonna get a Syndra
No,
and
no, 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 no.
no.
No, I was saying I meant 10 Arachnes because
Oh, 10.
there's also slipped through the cracks. Well, actually, that won't get a marvel, will it? Because they're giving
I
out the full art slip through the cracks in. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's probably gonna be a Marvel of young Arachne. Like if they're reprinting Solitary Confinement, so I'm expecting a Marvel Solitary Confinement as well. Maybe a Marvel Huntsman too.
And if they do anything like they did with Rosetta, they not only did Marvels, but they did like alt art Marvels. So I don't know. There's a lot of potential, but I mean, Fang, Drakai, Syndra are also both getting Marvels, more than likely.
Yeah, so that's 4 more. So that's 14 Marvels just in Heroes.
Potentially, I really hope they don't do 14 Marvels. That's too many Marvels. That would be the highest I think of any set so far.
I mean, maybe they won't give Marvels of every single like. We know that it's gonna be the tokens, right? All of the
Yeah, because they've already released the Marvel art, right? So let me see, how many Marvels did.
So I mean, it's 12 if they don't do Solitary Confinement and slip through the cracks. It's 13 if they do Solitary Confinement and leave out slip through the cracks because it's in Prague. But I don't know. I mean, I would be as if I was I kind of want to try Fang, and if they put Marvels for all the other Arachnes and don't put Marvel Fang, that'll be kind of ridiculous. But so that's why I'm expecting the Marvel Solitary Confinement too.
So actually, there were 19 Marvels in part of the Mistveil.
Okay. Well, yeah, because 9 of them, 9, 10, 11 of them were just the Transcend cards.
Yeah, six, no, 7 Marvel heroes, 3 Sacred Arts, and then 8 of the common Marvels. So, I mean, but even with that, this puts almost all of them in the heroes, which, when we look at Rosetta, Rosetta definitely had, I think, almost all of its Marvels in the hero slot.
Well, I mean, I think the heroes will do well. I mean, if we look at Fang...
Well, that's the thing. Individual heroes will do well. I don't think that getting 7 or 8 for a deck is going to be as
Yeah, I mean,
likely.
unfortunately, I think when it comes to the marvels uh of Marionette, that's just gonna end up looking like Dromai. And so whenever you're saying it's like mirroring Uprising, it undoubtedly is.
Yeah.
There those 6 tokens are mirroring what they did with all the Marble Dragons. So the problem there is that it is now up to the other heroes in this set to be good enough so that the Marvel fans that want to build Arachne and make this, blinged out deck, whenever like those can't be the only people that really want to buy into this set. Like, people have to be excited about Syndra and Fang if they're going to give Arachne that many marbles too. And to be honest, except for just like the straight up vibe of Syndra and Fang, I think they're both cool. I have not seen any cards that make me excited for Syndra or Fang.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I was I was worried when they first announced the set, because I kind of thought that, like, I don't know, it all seemed kind of lame. Like, I think lore wise, it's probably a total knockout set. I think, and shoot, which was it? Was it Dev Talk 11 or 10? I don't know. One of the last Dev Talks, they were talking about how much more effort and work got put into the lore on this one. So I do really think like they did a lot of work on that side of things, but I don't know. I just don't see that many people going into Arachne and dealing with needing all of this, and then
Well, I mean, the problem with trying to expect anyone to like be excited about an assassin set is the same problem that people had with MST. They made the best deck Ninja and people bought into Zen, but like then that was too good and they had to ban cards. But like people didn't buy into New because you had to get codexes and shit. So like I think the majority of people that want to open Hunted are probably more excited to open up, like, there's probably more people excited to open up Syndra and Fang cards than there are people excited to open up Assassin cards. And I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but no matter how many Arachne and Assassin fans there are, I can't imagine that the Arachne fans that have been sticking with Arachne Huntsman overlaps too much with the general Assassin fan base that is 100% kept up with like buying codexes and getting all their junk. Because, Assassin is the wallet warrior of this deck, or of this game. Like, Hearthstone, where you played a warrior and you like bought one of every single legend to put in your deck and you play the wallet warrior, the control deck. That's exactly what Assassin is in this game. You just like buy all the expensive cards and grind out your opponent.
yeah, I don't know. The vibes of the set just haven't really been. I mean, I'm not playing it, but like, I'm not nearly as. I mean, even part of the misfail after like the hump it was coming out of, like, or not hump, but, or the lull. Like it was just seemed very exciting. Like, it was cool looking at all this stuff, and the cards were as exciting as the story and lore. But I don't know. This just feels. I think we're gonna get too lore heavy, but it's okay. I mean, not everyone has to be a hit. It just can't be a stinker.
I mean, for me, I think the strongest, like, the thing that's gonna make a difference in CC is the thing that is getting released in Prague. I think that Arachne slipped through the cracks is going to be the CC assassin that starts to make waves, because solitary confinement. It's the adult solitary confinement, except it has chaos, okay? And that means that they have finally decided, hey, this effect that we had earlier relegated to Blitz only. Like, when Outsiders came out, they printed solitary confinement and specifically did not give him an adult version because usually every time they do that, that means that they're scared of the ability, because if you could just get go again for free every single turn for the entire game, that's like chain without a downside. So
Did they release everything? I don't see anything for Slip Through the Cracks like on this site, or did they release what it does?
yes,
I wonder why it's not here. Or oh yeah, they released it. That's right, because it was just the
it's each turn your first stealth card gets go again, but it also works for your opponent too.
I'm trying to find it so I can. I wanted to put it up on the screen, but man, that's just not going to happen. Okay. Shoot. Oh well.
But yeah, for anyone out there that thinks that Marionette is gonna be like gonna take over everything, I think it's really gonna be Slip Through the Cracks. Because first of all, 5 out of 6 of these do give you the +3 whenever you discard a card. You know that. The worst part is it has to be an assassin card, so you can't even play good generics and just discard any card. So that's kind of lame. That makes it harder to play. And the fact that you've even got to play trapdoor, like if you roll a 6, are you playing traps in the deck? Because traps aren't that good. Okay, traps are okay. Like if you're gonna play Riptide, and you're getting damage on the traps, maybe you're using some traps. But for the most part, Riptide decks I see, they're still using Premeditate, they're still using Codex, they're still kind of playing like that aggro theme that Ranger can do. And I just see traps as being such low impact that it's almost, I will bet like 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a total trap to even put traps in your deck. Like if you roll a 6, just pretend your hero's blank. Like why would you even put Blood Rot Trap in your deck? Like, are you gonna draw it and banish it and get it and like have it like right when it needs to be had? And the only way for that to be a good toolbox is if you're running like one copy of like several different traps. And I don't know. It just seems like the kind of thing that if you build your deck to make use of it, you either won't ever roll a 6 and never turn into trapdoor and now you're drawing traps, or you won't you know the turn that you banish the trap, they won't do what you want them to do, and you just end up with the card just blocks for 3 or whatever. I mean, it is an additional card, so I mean, he's the only one that actually does plus you. He is a defensive plus, so that's interesting. But yeah,
It honestly just kind of gives I don't know, this Arachne thing. I think this really comes off as exactly what I've been asking for, which is kind of like a fun meme deck. I mean, it won't be a meme. It obviously it's still gonna win, but like the idea of swapping out like into a new demi, like
it's gonna be more of a meme than any other assassin.
Right.
Any other assassin. Like except maybe Huntsman.
I mean, it's just not. I mean, not even like meme isn't like as a bad, but well, I mean, it might be bad, but it's gonna be a fun deck. I think you know you get every game's gonna be different. I mean, there's no. I think when it comes to like competitive stuff, just how random it is probably gonna, you know, make it unplayable. There's just, I mean, right. This is more of a kitchen table deck.
Yeah, I'm not going to be surprised to see some wins with it, because people can win. You can win with any deck. You know, people win crap with. People have wins on everything, right? So it's not a matter of this. I really doubt that this deck will suck worse than like the worst thing in the game. You know, this Arachne has a lot of card text going on. Even if you do what I'm talking about and like actually have a couple traps in your deck, plussing and having an extra card that blocks 3 is actually pretty good now that I'm really thinking about it, because it's just an extra card out of nowhere. It's like you've got 6 cards in your hand, but you have to block with 1. Or 5 cards in your hand, but you have to block with 1. Which isn't nothing. But it's also funny because the other 5 abilities are all very offensive instead of defensive. So like I think me just looking at this, I feel like one of the best possible decks is going to be like a grindy control deck that just pluses like 1 in 6 times whenever it gets to trapdoor and can block more for free.
I think it's just consistency though, right? Like when you're gearing up for like serious competitive, like this will win games, but I don't think it'll win events.
Well,
Like,
so as long as the person piloting it is going fast, that's the thing with control decks. If you've got something that is random, but you know that you're going to play the long grind game, as long as you're doing that random thing every single turn, it's gonna come out in your favor at least once, hopefully. I know rolling a 6 doesn't happen all the time, but if you roll the dice every single turn, in within 14 turns, you should plus at least once off of it. So,
but you're not,
yeah.
you're not. I mean, yeah, but you're also not guaranteed to roll every turn, right? You're only rolling when you get marked, which.
Oh yeah, I didn't
mean,
even consider that. So
right.
you've gotta mark them, right? At the beginning of your end phase, if an opponent is marked. Okay, so yeah, so this whole deck, so that's tough, man, because I'm trying to make it vibe in my head, because now you've got, so now you have to be on offensive deck with reactions to try and force the mark, and yeah, it's just like everything about Marionette and wanting to mark people is offensive style, but like arguably the strongest effect is Trapdoor because it pluses, but you aren't really the grindy type of deck that can really take advantage of that. I don't know. The more I think about it, it just seems like a lot of hoops to jump through another random hoop and hope it's the one that you wanted for that specific turn.
So this is where I go back to meme, because I think, like I said, I just don't think the consistency is there, because you're gonna have to. I mean, maybe there's probably gonna be more cards to give you more chances to mark and stuff, but it's not gonna be every turn. And I think your games are either going to go super crazy well and memorable, and you're gonna be like, oh man, remember that game where I marked first turn, boom boom boom, trapdoor, like
Yeah, I rolled Black Widow 3 turns in a row.
Right? Yeah. So, and that goes back to a theory of game design. I think made more popular by Hapu. Hapu does Risk of Rain, and they talk about little bugs that aren't. I mean, they're bugs, but certain little bugs that just add little interactions, like opening a chest and then just watching like your red item fly off into the abyss, like into a pit, because of that chest just happened to randomly generate there. They're like, we can fix it. We can fix it so every chest goes somewhere where the items are going to land. But that moment is so memorable. Yeah. But this is a memorable. You're like, at the end of that day, you could play 8 hours. The game you're gonna go talk to your friends about is that one where your red item flew off the edge of the chest, right? And there swings both ways. Where, as long as it's a memorable moment that you like to talk about, and that just adds like a layer of fun. So I think this is going to be a fun deck, and it's going to have its highs, and it's going to have way more lows than highs. But when you get everything lined up, it's going to be super fun to play, I think. But
not that you would know anything about that.
No, I mean, yeah, that's my Magic the Gathering deck style is. I mean, I'll play 100 games, and if I get one really funny win out of it, I'm ecstatic, and that's kind of what That's the vibe I'm getting from this. I think this would
be. Does that mean that you're gonna play?
Oh, I finally had the time. I'm a busy guy. Real busy. But no, I do like that. I think that this is the first hero and deck thing. I mean, well, I don't want to say it like this is the only deck they've ever made that would be fun, but it's like a level of Mimi fun, like those big moments, which they talk about sometimes. Like the Kraken's Aether Vein, right? But this is one of those big swingy moves that they don't have to immediately ban somehow. Like unless someone can, there's no way to break this to like get exactly the ones you want. I don't know. So
I mean, they could. I could bet that they print some kind of majestic that says like when this hits, the next time you become become an agent of chaos, you can choose. Maybe they won't do that, but if they print that card, then it's a game changer.
Or even I think maybe something less impactful that could be as strong is like change a dice roll up or down one, which also gives it some potential impact on other cards, unless they just make it like an assassin only. But that way you're not, I mean, because I think choosing one of the 6 is probably too strong, but
I don't think that I don't think that we'll get anything that will say like plus or minus the dice roll, because they don't. So they have cards that say roll a dice. Okay. These cards do not say roll a dice. It says become a random hero. Now there's 6 of them, and the logical thing to do would be to roll a dice. But until I hear them write down some rules that say you must roll a dice, and if you could get 1, you play Black Widow, 2, etc. Then once I see that ruling in writing, I'll believe it. But as for now, I don't think that we can assume that any of the cards will actually say anything about the dice roll result for transforming or becoming different Arachnes.
Yeah, I'm sort of expecting some rule additions that will go into depth on like competitive rulings for how to randomly select one of them, as well as I think this mentor is the first mentor that doesn't exclusively say like blitz only, but I think they
no.
Right?
Well, I mean, maybe, but mentors have always been blitz only. I just don't. It could be one of those things like with the arrow cards, how they stopped printing "This must be played from your arsenal." They just kind of forgot that needed to be on arrow cards for a while.
Yeah, but I'm thinking they make that hard written into the rules just by default. All mentors. Is it at this point? Okay. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Because anything to free up text space in the box is usually pretty good. Though I don't know, a keyword would have been nice.
They like to say that reading the card explains the card, but they do miss some stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like whenever I was trying to teach the people around me, which we haven't even got to, I'm actually hosting a draft event. We're drafting Arcane Rising. We've already got at least 6 people coming. So here in my hometown, we're finally starting to maybe have some people getting interested in Flesh and Blood, and I taught them how to play a little bit, showed them some stuff, and dang, I actually lost my train of thought. What made us get into that?
Wait, no, where did you go?
Oh, no, did you close out of it?
Oh, no, it's because I shrunk something here, sorry. I got a picture for our talk here.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely me. This is 100%. Because this is just like a dude that like I overheard talking about like dirty stuff, and I'm like, yo, you play card games? You go over to this LGS over here, and then and that works, sometimes people are all like, oh, I'm not good at talking to strangers or whatever, but you gotta put yourself out there sometimes and give it a shot.
I do sometimes love just talking to a random person, and sometimes you get a real weirdo, and sometimes there's the most fun conversations. I mean, to this day, when we were at college, I think we were out maybe you weren't there. I was out front. And I'm just like, hey, we're just talking to all these people. They're like, what's that guy? I'm like, that guy is going to be my new best friend. I just go over and I talk to him. He's got like weird metal claws all over his hands. And I'm like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm an internet lawyer. I do internet law. And I was like, oh, okay. And not in the way that you think. It's like meme law and like 4chan and all that stuff. And he went on for like an hour.
Like a bird law type of situation.
Yeah. It's very much a bird law situation. And so we just talk, listen to this guy talk about it for like an hour and a half. And you know what? What is it, like 15 years later? I still think about that conversation all the time. Sometimes
How
you
is
just
Mitch
gotta.
doing?
Mitch is doing good. He was here this last weekend. I'm going down to see him in the morning. I gotta wake up at 5 a.m. No, it wasn't him, but he was there. He was definitely there. He was really trying to get me to not talk to this guy, which really just made me double down on it. I love making him feel uncomfortable around strangers. So,
I mean, what goes around comes around, really.
Right. But yeah, don't be afraid. Like I said, sometimes just you go off, you introduce yourself, you talk to a stranger, and it'll stick with you for the rest of your life. So don't be afraid to go out there and spread the word about Flesh and Blood to your local communities. Just start a conversation.
And surprisingly, you would not believe the actual just amount of like people just hate Hasbro. People hate what they're doing to it. They're like, I can't believe that literally the first person that I tried to talk to about Flesh and Blood was like, oh, is it its own IP? Like, is it based off some game or comic book already? And I'm like, no, it's its own thing. It's their own company, and they take trading card games really seriously. And they're like, oh, word. Like they really like that.
Yeah. It is. It's interesting. I like it. I mean, there's a space for Bandai, and obviously they're just printing money. Like every IP is getting its own card game at this point, and it works, right?
Anime fans are crazy. I think that trading card game space can go ahead and coexist with everything else, because that's just going to be like, as long as Oda is writing One Piece, they're going to be able to make money off of that One Piece card game. And Toriyama's gone, but they're going to keep making Dragon Ball. And they're actually, now that he's gone, they're probably going to be able to make sure that they're on track to keep making Dragon Ball more often, more effectively.
Oh yeah, Dragon Ball, probably for the rest of our lives.
Oh yeah. There's nothing that's gonna stop that gravy train now.
Right. Yeah. So, but no, I like it. I don't know. The Dragon Ball super cards are, despite Super no longer be existing, super cards are still doing pretty okay. And
what do you mean not existing? Like this? You mean like the run is gone?
Yeah, they jumped ship on Super and made a new series and went to that, because originally they had paused it after like the big World's Championship or whatever, and then World's Tourney, and then they're like, oh well, we'll pause and they'll bring it back, and then they never did, and then they just made a new series, so then they just canceled it. So, but the card game has just been existing, and they keep getting new cards, like, oh yeah, we're gonna start it up anytime now. So, and there's also a weird YouTube series. I don't know if you ever watched that, with the prison planets, which I think tied into one of the games, but they were like 15-minute episodes. It was really strange. There's a whole bunch of them.
They put everything in the Xenoverse, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I played a little bit of Sparking Zero. I mean, the only problem is that it seems like they made Xenoverse, but with like less stuff in it, and then charged you for it again. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that game, because I played Xenoverse 2, and yeah, this is not a video game review, but kind of feel like Sparking Zero was a bit of a ripoff.
I think, yeah, some people really liked it.
I think it's fine.
Like, it's super, like, the story is supposed to be good. I think if you're looking for gameplay, it's probably very lacking. And even like the story side, I think, is its strong suit. from what
Like
I've read. Yeah.
what it is like you're getting what you expect. Like you're not buying that game and not getting what you expect. But if you have played Xenoverse or Xenoverse 2 and then you play Sparking Zero, you might be a little underwhelmed at how it's basically like a story mode of Xenoverse and then like online versus and nothing else.
Yeah. But I mean, going back to the Bandai cards, I think the thing I like the most about the Bandai games is that the rules mostly overlap. Like I think there's like one or two defining rule differences between most of the Bandai games, but at its core, they like almost all play the same. So it makes it really easy to hop from like one game to the next, which is I think convenient. Like if you're someone who likes to play more than one card game, or you have a bunch of friends who play, like it's easier to teach someone who plays One Piece, Dragon Ball, than it is from One Piece to like Flesh and Blood. So I don't know.
No,
I think they're kind of smart that way, right? Like
I mean, I feel like Dragon Ball and One Piece play a lot differently. Like I think One Piece might be the exception there because I have not played Super, but I've played Digimon and I've played One Piece. I think I said Dragon Ball the first time, but I meant Digimon.
oh, okay.
Digimon has like that weird bar that it's like you play, like you have cards that cost 0 to 10, and if you pay 10, you move the bar 10 over to your opponent. And so like on the first turn you start at 2, and if you play something that costs 3, then your opponent is at 1. And then they can play something that costs 4, and then you're at 3, or so. It's some such stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly how it is, but it's definitely a lot different than the Dawn system.
Yeah. I just think there's. I think there's just enough overlap with the rest of the rules that it's like I don't know. It's kind of like. Even like switching between different versions of like poker, right? Like as long as you know the hands,
You're still attacking barriers, right?
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's cool. I wish Weiss would have ever gotten more popular than it did. I mean, it still sells well. I still pick up sets every once in a while. I haven't for a minute here. Actually, I probably haven't picked up a new Weiss for like 6 months.
Is Weiss like not as popular as like Flesh and Blood or anything? Because I feel like whenever I was still in Pittsburgh, like there was a couple Weiss shops, and it felt like there was about the same amount. Like certain game shops, we would have 8 Flesh and Blood and 8 Weiss people the same night.
Yeah, I think it might be more per store, but I think like as a whole, like countrywide, I don't think it's as popular probably at this point.
I guess the most popular anime is all Bandai. The rest of the scraps and Weiss can't get the rest of the market share.
Yeah, they also have a lot of weird licensing issues where like in Flesh and Blood, like Mistveil comes out, you get a Japanese set, you get the German set, you get the American set, right? It's the same set to every country. But Weiss will have like 4 sets come out in a year, 4 to 6. I think 6 is probably more accurate. But like only 4 of those or 4 of them will maybe overlap, and then the US will get 2 versions in English that they don't get in Japanese, and like Japanese will sometimes get ones. So like the Weiss Disney sets and the Marvel sets are only released in Japanese and not in the US. So like I've got like Japanese boxes of like Disney and stuff upstairs just because I thought it would be cool to have. I don't think it's ever going to increase in value, but
no, the problem with those cards is that they're not in English, and Americans could not give a single fuck about that.
Right. I'm still trying to wait.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think we're going to get some examples. I did see that the Japanese heroes for Rosetta from Worlds are, I think, going down. And I was wondering, like, I wonder if it's just because they're Japanese. Like,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like, there's crazy people out there like you and me. Well, not you. I mean, I like, you don't like to pay a lot for, but like, I'll look at that and be like, oh my god, it's so cool. And like, if it's something I really want, I'll pay what it costs. But yeah, it's not surprising to me if the Japanese cards are going down, and it's just always like if you look at Yu-Gi-Oh cards, technically you're not allowed to play non-English cards in the TCG. But if you so wanted, you could probably buy the Korean versions of a lot of the cards that are like mega expensive, and they look pretty much exactly the same, except they're not English, and they're worthless.
Oh yeah, I know. I've got boxes and boxes of international cards of like every different language you can think of. I was sorting them all by language for a bit, but I didn't realize there were so many. And yeah, I was like, oh cool, I can't wait to sell all these. And then they were like, you can give me $10 and then you can ship them to me. And I was like, no one wants them. There's like a very, very, very niche community of international collectors, but other than that, no dice. I don't know. I was just hoping it would be a little different Flesh and Blood, but you know, I think those. I can't remember what were those heroes that like when Worlds was happening. I think it was like 500 or 600, wasn't it? For some of them.
So the rainbow foil like Dorinthia, Viserai, and Ira, those were like $200. Like I would say between 120 and 200. What are they?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's about what they're at right now. I remember seeing some higher price than that. I was pretty sure I was seeing the Iris for like 500 for a while, but I did see, you know, Dorinthia is down to like 170, and one of them was down to like 120.
I was gonna say you must have looked at it a little bit earlier. The cheapest Dorinthia right now is 180.
You looking on eBay?
No. Oh,
I was checking eBay. I was on eBay a lot. I've been living out of my eBay store for a minute here.
Yeah, Viserai is 150. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Ira's up to 220. I mean, she is the nicest looking one. I mean,
yeah, I think
if I was gonna get any of them, I'd get that one.
I don't know. I think I would almost get the Dorinthia. I really like the Dorinthia one.
Well, if I got the Ira, I'd have to get the Dorinthia for my wife. But
oh yeah, you would. Yeah, to stay off the couch. Yeah, the Dorinthia shows up, but
no. But even the art on the Ira Dakin, I don't know if I've ever seen other like. What other has Dakin done anything else for Flesh and Blood? Do we know? I can look him up in Fabrary. Trying to see if it'll let me search by artist.
I think usually if you go into like the card details, you can, right?
Yeah. Oh, here it is. It's
yeah. You
art
just click.
colon. Yeah. So art colon Dakin. Showing one result. Rising Sun, Setting Moon is the only other card that artist has done, and that card slaps. Hell yeah. Yeah, we need more Dakin. Let's go. Rising Sun, Setting Moon, and promo Ira. Those are pretty good 2 arts. What are you staring off into space about now?
I don't know. I keep ever since you sent me the young hero for Fang, he just always just comes. He just looks like a Total War like general or like Age of Empires. I don't know. He just looks so computer generated to me that it always throws me off. So I was trying to see what else.
Who the artist was?
Yeah. And they've done some of the best hero art, I think. Like they did Tech Levasan, the Mechnopotent. Like the art of the actual like demi hero.
To be fair, Tech Levasan and Fang could be the same body, just mirrored. They're the same stance, same vibe.
yeah. I mean, both Fang into Fang Drakai, you just reverse, you just flip even, and then Fang Drakai, yeah, is the same pose as Teklavas, and the only time we get a different, actually, wait a sec. All right, I was looking at Brutus. He does Brutus Sumarutus, and also Victor Goldmane, High and Mighty. Yeah, riding like the
I love
that's-
Victor High and Mighty. I mean, but Victor has a much more expressive face than Fang does. Fang,
yeah.
I feel like you look at Fang's face and see computer generated, and I feel like I see like the 1,000-yard stare of a cold hard killer.
Yeah, no, I've played too much Total War and Age of Empires. It just looks like he's gonna come over and be upset that I like marched my military through his lands or something.
Who is
He's
Gandhi?
Yeah, something. I'm dropping nukes in about 5 seconds. But then Billy Christian's the artist, and then they did Second Archangel Ravages, which is one of the most badass of like the Angel allies, I think.
Second does look pretty good.
Yeah.
Reminds me of a Chroma Angel of Wrath. Or no, not Wrath, Angel of Fury, the red Achroma from Planar Chaos. Or it was either Planar Chaos or Plane Shift. I don't remember. But there's a red Achroma. Second reminds me of that.
Yeah. Oh, but I think before we detoured, we were talking about like I have concerns about the pricing for Hunted, but I think if they fix it, I think the way they're going to fix it is the expansion slot. I think the fact that they're emphasizing the expansion slot so much in like pre-interviews and stuff, I think they kind of know they may be made a boo-boo and they just aren't saying it. But like the matter that they're pumping up, like, oh, you know, expansion slot cards, here's who's getting support, here's the decks they're gonna get love. Like, I don't know, that also kind of worries me because that's a lot of hype not directed towards this set. So I don't know. It can work out. It can work out in sets where.
So wait, you think that they're talking
slots.
about they're talking about the expansion slot so much because you think that the cards in the set are gonna be doo-doo?
Well, partially doo-doo, but
like,
also not hold the value as much. I think. Yeah, I think the value. You know, we look at. Or I should say, when I'm going through like EVs, I'm looking through set values. You know, I'm trying to figure out like how much is in like each of the slots, and you know, I think the expansion slot is just going to hold almost all of the majestic value, unfortunately, and probably eat into the Marvel percentage that we normally get in a set.
I don't know. I feel like you're jumping to conclusions. This is a little too early because we've already seen several times that they have absolutely no qualms about dropping a powerful generic that goes to $60. Like, there could be any number of things in here. I know I said that I'm not currently excited, but I do have faith that they can excite me. I'm just saying that so far they're really only showing us Marionette and stuff, and like that's really cool. Marionette looks great. Arachne is awesome. But I want to see what the Drakai stuff is going on, and like I'm the type of person that likes to play limited, so I'm gonna have my time on all of these heroes, and I like to feel somewhat excited about an aspect about any hero that I play, and so far I'm really worried that I'm not really gonna like Fang or Syndra very much.
You should think how many expansion slot cards have they revealed? It's Ring of Roses, Warcry of Bologna, Call, and so which one? Pen?
Yes.
Is that not on this list either? February, you're letting me down here.
If you scroll down, Stick-Hide Hunter, Tremor Shield, Shabatons, Roiling Fissure, Retrace the Past, Enchanted Quiver, Chain Reaction, Spurlocked, Ring of Roses, Warcry of Bologna, and Cull.
Call, yeah. Oh, 10, 10. Okay. I thought you were saying pen. I'm like, I don't see a card named pen. I don't know.
No, I said
10.
10.
10. Okay. Yeah, that's why I
You
was
know,
like,
a
this isn't.
number.
Yeah, I was like, well, I thought I was asking like what other ones. You're like, oh, pen. And I was like, what?
No, you said how
Pen?
many?
Oh. Yeah, 10. I don't know, man.
I mean, there's going to be more than that, right? I would expect more.
I wouldn't expect much more. Probably one more. I don't think the expansion slot usually has more than like 11 or 12.
How many was in, do you know how many was in this fail? Or Rosetta?
I'd have to look up, but I don't think it was more than 10.
I feel like they could really infuse a lot of value by making a lot of them. Because, you know, if there's a lot of them and you need 3 copies of Retrace the Past, that's a really easy way to make Retrace the Past $20 to $30 to have 20 cards in the expansion slot.
No, it's 15. 15 Majestics expansion and Rosetta.
So there's 50% more.
13 in part of the Mistveil.
So maybe we could expect even more because they're on a trend upward.
I think Rosetta had all the puzzle pieces in their expansions as well. I don't know if that, or it showed up in the expansion slot. I don't know. I don't know if they counted them. I mean, it wouldn't be like all whatever, like 36, obviously, but like, I wonder if that took up one of the Marvel slots or Majestics. I was trying to Marvel. Words hard. I was wondering if they. Oh no, because it specifically says 15 Majestics in the expansion. Okay. So.
Yeah, I think that could easily be, you know, maybe it would be crazy for them to do this, but I could see 20 to 30. It sounds like they're gonna. I'm hoping that they basically do gem packs as the list, like MTG's the list is gonna be the gem packs. Hopefully, I really want them to like actually address the elephant in the room that people are excited to play the game, but then see the price of Command and Conquer and shit their pants.
Yeah, people just need. I don't know. I mean, I think I would just argue that
it's so hard to talk somebody off that ledge once they see it.
Yeah, you just need to say like that's for competitive players. Like unless you're going to Worlds or Nationals, then you probably just don't need to worry about it.
And that's what I said. And it's at least for our people here. I was like, listen, as far as I can tell, like, you know, everybody here that's going to be playing are newbies. Like, the only people possible that will be like increasing the power level around here will be the people from Tyrone that aren't going to show up because it's a long drive and they've got their own LGS. And that's really just like one person, and they're from, you know, it's basically like I would be the one that would bring the Command and Conquers if anybody was going to do that, and I'm not going to do that. I was like, you know, we should set up draft events, sealed events, commoner events, or if you guys do want to play CC, you know, I'll just build a deck without legends in it. You know, I don't care, especially now that they are doing things where like you don't actually have to win to get the cold foil, because it used to be very competitive. Like, you know, if you want to get the prizes, you get a good deck and you beat everybody in the store. But now if they're just gonna start giving out gem packs for showing up and playing, screw it.
Yeah, right. Like,
I want more people to play the game more than I want to play my flashy expensive cards. You know, it's no fun. Like, you know, shooting fish in a barrel is not fishing.
Yeah. What I'm sorry. I'm looking at Spur Locked. Let me. Sorry. Let me.
It's incomprehensible.
Incomprehensible?
No, I totally understand it. I just don't know what the optimal choice is, which I suppose is the point. They want it to be very complicated. Each hero chooses a number in secret between 1 to 6. Whoever chooses the higher number is the one that loses that much life and then searches their deck for a card that costs less than or equal to the chosen number. It reveals it, puts it in their hand, and then shuffles. So no searching of Spinal Crush, or no, you could get Spinal Crush, but you can't get Crippling Crush or nothing that costs 7. So the highest cost thing you could get is 6. So, you know, Cranial Crush, stuff like that. You know, you're playing against a Guardian, and they say 6, maybe you don't say 6 against a Guardian, or you have to say 6 against a Guardian. I don't know.
You know,
but then I think of it like, is losing 6 life worth searching a card?
Yeah. I think the thing that stood out to me most about this card in particular was they're still doing the 1 to 6 thing. It's still chaos, but it's like mentally picking it instead of like each of you roll a die. You know, you're both. There's a good mental game to this, I think.
Yeah, I actually think. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to interrupt you.
Sorry. Yeah, well, I was just gonna say, like, I'm actually thinking that even with the 6, I'm wondering if they design away from using dice now, because dice are just such a hard thing to deal with in like the judging zone. So I think it's maybe more easier to make sure like a card's not marked and make it easy to pick like 1 out of 6. Like if you just shuffle 6 cards up, someone pick it. Whereas in this particular, like you always want to roll 6s because, you know, you've got the 1 Arachne. How easy is it to just bring away to die? Like how, like you're not going to have judges at your table doing like salt buoyancy checks on your dice, right? Like to make sure that they aren't weighted. So I was just having a thought looking at this, like maybe they're purposely not using dice because that's just like a level of like judging and like match awareness. I don't know, that they just don't want to have to deal with. Like,
I mean,
I don't know. Yeah, because I mean, they did pretty firmly move away from dice after. Was it Arcane, right? Or is it?
I mean, the last time that they printed a dice card was Dusk Till Dawn, I think.
Oh, did they do one? I didn't realize they had done one that recently.
Because Dusk Till Dawn had Ready to Roll in it, didn't it?
I do not recall.
No, Ready to Roll was from Everfest. What was there was another KO card. Great. Now that's gonna bother me. Just search KO. Oh no, it was heavy. They put a KO specialization.
Oh, okay.
Reckless Charge. So there's dice in heavy.
Maybe not then. Yeah, I don't know. I guess to be fair, they changed like their whole design approach in the set after heavy. So who knows? But I don't know. It was a thought. It was a really weird to me. I don't know. I do like the mental games that Spurlock brings in instead of just having like.
So I think
two
Spurlock
people
has like multiple avenues that you could be in like a certain situation where like obviously once life totals are low, there's only a certain amount that you can choose to even be safe. But like then you get to the thought of like, okay, how much life do I want to pay? Like what's the most amount of life that I would want to pay to actually search a card? You would have to think probably 3, because 3 life would represent the 3 block that you could have gotten out of the card whenever you search it up or whatever. So then if you choose 3, you would beat some... Yeah, I actually don't know if there is a way to choose the optimal number here, which I think is the point.
Yeah, yeah, it's an interesting. It'll be this will be actually interesting to see like how that number fluctuates throughout, you know, the life of the meta for it. But or if you even bother with it, right? Like maybe no
I
one
think
finds
whenever
the
you're
optimal, they just don't play it.
I
Yeah.
think whenever you play against this card, I think whenever your opponent is chaos and they play Spurlocked against you, I think 3 is a safe number to pick because making them pay 4 life to search anything is like better be a good fucking card.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then if it's a 3, then you've got an extra. You paid 3 health to get a block 3 from your deck to help against the rest of this turn.
Yeah, and I find the art of this very interesting. Let's see, is my
Well, they
mouse show
just put
up?
Brody Spurlock on there. I mean, I don't know how much this actually is part of the story because I think they just want to honor him for being so damn good at the game.
Yeah.
But like as for like where he is, like maybe this is. I mean, it looks pretty demonastery-ish, doesn't it?
I mean, potentially, but these eyes, I don't know. The eyes are similar to what we're seeing with like the chaos stuff and the what we're not sure exactly is on like marionette. So, but I mean, a different art style. But I don't know. Maybe that's just a direction thing, or if it's like,
Well, I've read this random thing that I remember. Somebody was talking about the lore on Blue Sky, and apparently there's some kind of chaos god. I don't remember what they were talking about, and I haven't read the lore myself. But apparently there is some sort of chaos god that is like it's not shadow, it's not light, it's chaos. So
yeah.
even
I
though
think
it
he's
looks
on
like
like
the
one
monastery,
flavor text. Yeah. Yeah, I do. I was reading up on that too. I don't even think I don't even know if it's actually a flavor text or in one of the books. Like is I think it was like a one line mention somewhere. It's not a whole fleshed out thing yet. So we'll get that lore drop, I think, with the release of Hunted. So I don't know. I'm kind of excited. I really just want a book. I want a cool lore book more than anything. And I really hope that if they're going to invest so much, like we're kind of hearing with this one, that means we're finally getting it.
I want it so bad. I want to know more about this world without having to like, search a random website that doesn't have anything to do with Legend Story Studios. Because currently, as far as I'm aware, the best place to read a whole bunch of the lore is like some random fan site that aggregated everything. And that's amazing. Happy they did that, but
I think it's a good sign to have third party people doing some of these because it's not. Oh shoot! What's
it's a great
this?
sign. I mean, it shows the appetite is there. Like people love it. Like they have the fans. It's just that you know, for the fans, me and you, like, wouldn't it be nice to have a book? Yeah.
Yeah. Or I'll throw it up on stream real quick. It's legendarystories.net. I use this site a lot, and mostly because they keep everything very very up to date, and you can just go by world. Yeah, pick which city or area you want to go into, or go by. Oh well. I
Oh
think
yeah,
this
and
is
then
strictly from the
those
book.
are
Yeah.
just that's just a shot straight out of the original lore book.
Yeah. So, but they make it all so you can just click and just learn about one person. Then if they mention someone else, usually there's like a link to it.
Like a lot of this stuff is stuff that you can find on an LSS site, but you got to go to like the heroes page and then click on one hero and then go back and click on the other hero and blah blah blah. So I mean, this
Yeah.
is great. I'm glad this exists. It's very cool, but it's one of those things where it's like I really want them to flesh this out and give us a big story. Like give us a story.
Yeah, I mean they're so ripe for like a Netflix series, honestly. Like, or any streaming service. I don't care who it is at this point. Whatever, probably Apple, I think, right? Apple's the one currently just throwing money, trying to build up their numbers. You gotta find a streaming company on the up and at 'em, that because they just throw like way too much money at a project, and then you get one good season of it. And
I mean, even though I'm not an Apple fanboy, I think Apple would be the ones that I would be the most excited about. But that's simply because I think right now they have like the television show that I'm probably like the most excited about, because Severance is freaking amazing.
I've heard a lot of great things about the Apple shows.
You still haven't watched any of them?
No, nope. I don't even watch. I pay for 2 streaming services and I don't watch anything on them either. So I was like, I'm not gonna. I've got to cancel. Yeah. Well, actually, I got to watch the new Squid Games. Then I've got to cancel Netflix, and then maybe watch Dan to Dan. Yeah, season 2 dropped yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was like I thought you were talking about like the game. I love how they were like, let's make a game show after this dystopian sci-fi game. Oh,
there's a lot of good Squid Game. There's like Crab Game. Crab Game's probably the most popular of the Squid Game clones, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I really love this art. This is the call art is probably like this. I would love as like an oil painting in my house, I think.
It's definitely matte material. I need a play mat with call on it.
Yeah,
but it's mostly because it's the Rip Through Reality guy. Can you bring up Rip Through Reality?
Oh, wait, is it the same artist?
No.
Oh.
It's the same character on the picture.
Oh. Why is there not just a search?
Because you have to search cards. You're on the
Rip Through. They should just. Oh. Actually, I love his mask. When I was opening up the Monarch boxes, yeah, I got one of these in foil. I love the foil. The foiling on this is actually really, really good. But I love his mask and everything.
It's one of my favorite cards. It's a hard card to play because it costs 2. But way back in the good old days when you had to build your chain decks with Nebula Blade, you didn't really turn your nose up at paying 2 for something every once in a while. So if I was playing against like a control deck that I had to go super wide against, I would play Rip Through Realities at like 1 or 2 of them just to have like an extra thing I could save up in my Banish Stone with Go Again. Which actually, now that I think about it, Rip Through Reality probably works for Vincent a hell of a lot better because she can guarantee that the arcane damage happens, but she probably doesn't even play Meet and Greet.
Oh yeah, this guy did Prof. Wow, I know a bunch of the cards. I really like the Warcry Bologna too.
Drive? I love Twin Drive.
Yeah, Twin Drive's a beautiful, beautiful card. I love like the weird cyber swords. I don't know, it's just lightsabers. It just seems, I don't know, sometimes, I don't know, in my head I'm like, metrics, everything metrics related is super cool, but then also I'm like, how is a man with a lightsaber like
only thing I know about that so far is that there's something about metrics that like the technology doesn't work outside of metrics apparently.
Yeah, but this they've got a pretty solid catalog of cards. Like I really love the Rampant Growth Life and the Shaw Comet Storm.
Terminator Tank is one of my favorite cards to play as Teklavas. I mean, I don't even know what the hell that thing is, but it looks ridiculous. It reminds me of Z-Bots. If you ever played with those, if you're a big nerd when you were a child, you got Z-Bots instead of Matchbox cars.
Oh, I didn't get anything that fancy. We got wood blocks, or my mom we'd collect milk cartons, like the old cardboardy milk cartons, and then we put laminate over them, and those were our building blocks. It was, we were whole new levels of poor kids. No, not even mega blocks. Mega blocks are too expensive for us growing up. It was rough. But I do like that, like Teklevossen and all three. Well, not all four, but three of the forms is all done by the same person. I never really. It just looks so different, and there's just something different between two of these. No, but I don't know. I just loved like that they want the Tony Stark look, like the full Tony Stark.
It's not just Tony Stark, right? Like that's also supposed to be oh shit, what is it?
Well, looks more like his dad, right? More, I think probably more. Oh,
that's what I always thought. Like whenever they did Tony's dad, that they just sort of like, oh yeah, he's the Ted Turner guy because he's like the big old rich windbag.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this looks more like what's his name? Sketch. I'm Sketch. Like, hello brothers. It's he does all the he's a big, and I don't know, he's a big streamer, but he ends up on ESPN. He's like a sports game like streamer, and you'll see them on Sports Center doing his like, oh brothers. It's like, I don't know, it's anyways, he looks like he looks like this version of Teklevossen, except maybe a little darker.
I wish I knew who you were talking about, but I don't have that sports and screamer overlap enough to have any freaking clue at all.
Right. Oh yeah. It's definitely a micro niche there. But let me think. Was there any other hunted cards you wanted to go over while we're? Oh my gosh! Why just go? Okay.
Well, we didn't get anything new aside from those. Did we talk about the fact that Outsiders is just going crazy EV wise? Did we talk about the EV at all? Because I really think that
no
G player and bring up like search Uzuri Switchblade. Why in the hell? Like you can't. They don't have a non-foil Uzuri that isn't on the back of a Ponder token right now. Like you can get Uzuri Switchblade.
I mean, like they.
Ponder. Well, that's the promo.
Oh, this is the promo, yeah.
Like
which.
I mean, that's really cheap rainbow foil promo.
Yeah, they've got 62 of this one. Well, I like to. If we're gonna look at it, Uzuri, I want to look at all.
I mean, just type in Uzuri and hit enter, and it'll bring up all of them.
Just look at my typing skills. Yeah.
But yeah, if you look at that token, the Uzuri Switchblade token, the one that is not on the back of Ponder, because you can see there's another one that says Uzuri Switchblade / Ponder, that one is in stock. But the one that is Uzuri with like a flesh and blood back is gone. There aren't any.
I wonder if they finally rolled it over. So what they did with Rosetta, or what they were trying to do, was that anytime, like, because there isn't just a single, right? There's no Uzuri Switchblade with a plain back.
There isn't?
No, not in that slot. No, every token is double-sided. So that's why I was saying, like, on TCG Player, you'll see Uzuri Switchblade, you'll see Uzuri Switchblade Ponder, and then you'll just see Ponder. They're listed on TCG as 3 different cards. So with Rosetta, they started rolling these single ones into the doubles, but I didn't know if they had done that with all the old sets yet. But they also broke it. Like they rolled everything up into like the doubles, but then I don't know. I don't know if some people just prefer.
They should remove the listings then, because that makes shit super confusing.
Tell me about it.
Outsiders in a while, and I thought that because Crucible had adult heroes with the flesh and blood back. Like you could pull Kano and Reinhardt, like all the first 8 here. Yes, they did. The first 8 heroes are pullable in Crucible with the flesh and blood back, because they were only tokens in WTR and Arcane, so they printed them.
Oh, because
back on Crucible.
Well, yeah, because they were in the common slots, they weren't tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but anytime a hero comes in as a token, they're always, I think, double-sided. But that's why I get annoyed. I get annoyed that sometimes heroes are tokens, sometimes they're commons. I think at this point they're at least all tokens in a horrible, majestic wasted slot. But
I think Outsiders was probably the last time they put adults in the token slot, though. And that's why
it's
it's so
possible.
weird.
Actually, I need to consolidate all my tokens down to like a single block or box, because right now, I mean, I've got so many tokens on my stores that I just kind of give them away for free. People are like, oh, I forgot to put this token in my order. I'm like, saw me. You just you take this penny card and give me a good review.
I've actually had people message you, just be like, I forgot this card, can you add it? And then
Well,
you just,
usually they offer like, hey, can I PayPal you money to add this card or something to my order, which is kind of sketchy. So instead of going through that waste for like a 5-cent card, I'll just like usually throw it in. Though I did actually have an issue with this very thing today. It's really funny this came up, or this week. They messaged me on Christmas Eve at like 10 at night, and I'm like, I'm not dealing with this on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. But I sent them two. Well, they wanted 2 cards from Outsiders. One of the quivers, I think those are the Cronus quiver, and something else. One of the bows, because both bows are on each side of each quiver. So I sent them the 2 double-sided, and they're like, well, this isn't what I ordered. They're like, I just wanted the crow's nest. I'm like, well, the crow's nest only comes on the back of this other one. And they're like, well, I didn't get it then. And I'm like, what? And I don't know. I just sent them another copy. I'm like, whatever. It was a really weird, like, I just don't think they understood. I'm like, you got to look on the back of the cards. And they're like, no, you just sent me 2 of the wrong cards. And I'm like, no. You physically flip the cards over, look on the other side. I just sent them 2 cards. And I was like, yeah, whatever. We'll deal with it later. But it's a weird confusion.
Around in the sleeve so that they could only see the one side.
Well, they're clear. I know. They're clear sleeves. It's my downfall.
No. That's the problem. Yeah, they need to have a colored in back so that they can't see the wrong side. Then
yeah. I don't know. I was just really annoyed to deal with that over Christmas. It's just because my store was closed. It was sort of an order I sent like a week ago, and they only just now messaging me about it. But yeah, no, this whole TCG thing just adds so much confusion. But let me see.
Yeah, I mean, I could have swore that there was a Missouri with a regular flesh and blood back. It makes me want to look it up.
I mean, I've never opened one. I've opened a couple of cases, but I don't think so. I mean, if you check the collector center, it'll tell you.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. So there's like 307.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
It looks like Uzuri, Azalea, and Riptide and Katsu all have adult tokens on the back of Ponder. So there's 4 different Ponders with 4 different adult heroes on the back. I didn't realize. But
yeah, slowly, like the progression of tokens and how obnoxious they are to enter on TCG Player and probably print, it's been a journey. But luckily, with part of the Misfill, Rosetta, maybe even heavy hitters, we've hit perfection where there's really only like 10 different token cards now, realistically, because they're all the same front and backs. So.
Yeah, they needed to stop doing the shuffle them up.
Yeah. But were you looking for Uzuri to be? You think she's popping off with Hunted?
Well, I kind of thought that it would be possible, but to be honest with you, I just got baited by the fact that the other Uzuri said it was out of stock, because why the hell would they leave a dead listing up if they are consolidating listings? Because it makes things confusing as fuck.
Yeah, it really does. And you said I don't spend big money. I made wild and reckless spending decisions today because you taunted me.
$2 hero card? What was it?
No, we've got. So I was going through my EVs as I like to do. I like to work on my spreadsheets, tweak some numbers. EVs are more of an art than a science, unfortunately, to some degree, as you're like figuring out some slots. Though really, you're just factoring like tenths of a penny, I think. But
It's
I still like to play
educated
with it.
guessing.
Yeah, there's a lot of very like evidence-backed, educated guessing, but I'm working through it, and I was looking through a legendary Welcome Wrath. And I was like, oh, this one's 2,000, this one's 4,000, this one's like 5,000. This one is blank. There's no records for Findel Tunic, whatever. Like that's weird. I'll have to look into that, which is how I found like none sold recently. And then Tectonic Plating was $40, and I was like, wait a sec. If this is filtered, I'm like, someone's selling it for $40. So I immediately hop on the TCG player after, because I export the spreadsheets and work from the spreadsheets. Hop in there, and lo and behold, one Welcome to Wrath Alpha Tectonic Plating, $40. The next price, $1,120. And then I was looking, and there was someone selling lately played, 4 of them, for also $40. Well, I think the lately plays were 40, and I think I think it was, or no, was it? No, they're both 40. I think someone might have accidentally put it first in. I don't know. We'll see. I actually don't suspect any of those 5 will end up actually being alpha, which I'll just return them. But I bought all 5. 40 a piece. I'm like, I'll buy 5 Welcome to Wrath alpha cards. So that was my reckless spending of the day. It was
Spending $200 on hopefully, fingers crossed, $5,000.
yeah.
Unless whoever you bought it from is totally brain dead, those are unlimbs.
Yeah, I know. Which, I returned them, which is whatever, because I don't care about unlimited tectonic platings. Or I make bank. I don't know. Either way, even if only one, actually, I would say if any one of them is actually an alpha, then I just keep all of them. I'll just be nice. I don't care.
Well,
I'm just gambling.
Obviously.
One of the 5, right? Like,
Why in the heck? If you got even one that was cold foil, why would you ever talk to them again?
Right. Yeah.
Just be like, no, I got this. I don't need any help.
Yeah, so it was from a couple different people, and honestly, I've run into a lot of issues with auto pricing with like the mass price tools.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, if it actually did auto price it, can't they just say like cancel it and not send it to you? I mean,
they could, yeah. There's still time for them to realize they made a mistake.
Well, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, I feel like the seller has to be totally brain dead for you to actually end up with the first edition, because they would have to have listed it at that price or got it robotically sent down to that price, and then we'll actually have to go through with selling it to you and mailing it to you without figuring out that they've been fucked.
Yeah. Which, I mean, if you're not into the game, I mean, you might not know. But I think if you don't know, then you probably also don't realize that first edition symbol for every set outside of Welcome to Wrath and Ark is not first edition. It is, in fact, unlimited edition. So, actually, I ran into a lot of problems when I was trying to fill out my Welcome to Wrath like alpha set, like the first edition, and just the sheer number of unlimited cards I get instead just made me so irate that I just stopped trying. I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll try again now that people are more familiar with the game, but so many people just had no idea what they had. So, but
You actually run into people listing unlimited as first edition?
Oh, all the time, especially with Welcome to Wrath. Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
I would be so upset. I would be very upset.
I was worried because I was sending so many messages and demanding so many refunds that I'm like, they're just gonna think I'm scamming. Like, what are the chances that I bought from so many people who have no idea what they're doing or selling? And I'm just like constantly asking for refunds and like sending them back, and I'm like, it's annoying. It was very annoying. I just didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really tried to fuck around buying first edition stuff in a really long time. Like, whenever it was a little closer to Unlim coming out, I could actually trust when it was like people said first edition and unlimited. But
Yeah. I mean, now.
yeah,
Yeah, anyone
even
who
just what
started
you're
in the
talking
last,
of.
4 years, right? Yeah.
Well, the worst part is that the colored in circle is what, like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest bullshit. Is that they made fucking first edition Monarch and Tails the colored in circle like unlimited, and it's one of the stupidest decisions they've ever made.
Yeah. Yep. I'll fully agree with that. I do not like it. Not at all.
Because I can't wrap my head around going from, oh, this is first edition and unlimited, and now we're going to make the thing that we're going to call everything else first edition look like the unlimited of this one. I don't understand how that decision actually became the final decision, because it seems way too easy for things to, like, it just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense.
But, if you guys have any horror stories, let us know. Comments, social media, hit us up, messages. We read them.
Oh, and then there's also the chance that he could have just sent you fakes. So we're gonna open it up live, right? Whenever you get it, we'll do if he actually sends them.
Yeah, if I actually get them in the mail, I'm going to. Well, either way, I'm going to have to record it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that is true. The problem is I don't want to put their addresses on stream, but I will have to record it to make sure it's the real document or the real mail. Oh. How will I do that? Maybe I'll do the recording of opening them, and then
like censor it in editing. You'd have to edit
it. I think I might just open the envelopes ahead of time, and then we can do like.
You've got to open it and pull it out all in one
Yeah. I don't know. How am I going to do that? If they're real, maybe we'll look at them on stream. Yeah, I got my jeweler loop. I really want the digital and play with that and take a look. Yeah, because like you said, that was my concern. If they do have the magical little L at the bottom, -L, then I definitely have to check them to make sure they're not counterfeits, because those early Welcome to Wrath, I mean, especially legendaries and those multiple $1,000 cards have a lot of counterfeits out there.
The rainbow foils do. I don't know if they can counterfeit cold foils. You think they can actually make a counterfeit cold foil that's believable?
I don't know.
The rainbow foil fakes I've seen are close, but I don't know if they can do cold foil at all.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look. I'm excited. I'm excited to see. Maybe I'll just rip one of them in half, and we'll look on the inside for the cold foil. See how it's made.
You actually get 4. Or wait, no, you said 5, right?
5.
You actually get 5 cold foil tectonic platings. Yeah, I guess rip one in half, because that's just
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know, but whenever I'm looking through those EVs, sometimes I'll be like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, wait a sec, why is this so low? And then I'll look up, and then sometimes I just sneak a couple buys in, and it's good.
For anybody that is paying attention to the market, and we've been talking the whole time about how Outsiders is going up. What's your EV for Outsiders looking like? Because that shit is wild.
So, I guess I can't really show it on screen. Wait, do I have it in a chat message? Definitely have it in the chat message with you. Where is it? So my calculated EV currently for Outsiders is 478 a pack, 114 a box, and 458.95 for a case. So
just nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, which I know I was looking at, so I did add in the Rainbow Foil Majestics, which added, 70 cents to this. but
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I think it went up. It still went up over $1 a pack. Not even considering that, from June to right now. So I'm pretty excited with that. And that's actually why I've been trying to finish these EV sheets, is because I want to start doing either like a week to week check or like once a month. Maybe at the end of the month we look at where all the EV is, and then I can get like a data analyst to help me with that.
That would be awesome, because I miss. So I used to watch. I used to be a huge fan of Tommy's Top Picks, because they would do the flesh and blood market. They would, do like which boxes are hot and cold. We should pick that up.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, I used to watch it through Louis over on Kitchen Table Gaming. He used to do every week. He would do like an EV video on every set, which is just not sustainable. Yeah. So I was like, I
think we could make like a hot and cold box part of like Riled Up every week.
Yeah. So that's the plan. I'm really hoping to get that finished. I'm gone all day tomorrow. I'm actually waking up at like 5 a.m. I'm not excited about that, but
what the hell are you doing tomorrow?
I've got a friend up from Virginia. She's about to go on deployment, and so she wanted to like visit some people who were actually celebrating Christmas. So she's with a couple of friends right now. But I was gonna go show her like Pittsburgh, so we're gonna do like the Strip District. I don't know, when it comes to like touring Pittsburgh and bringing guests places, like my go-to is always a morning at the Strip District. Just like,
which means you've got 3 hours to drive before 8 a.m.
Yep. Yeah, so that's why I'm waking up at 5. But we're gonna do a real early morning Strip District. Maybe go up to Squirrel Hill. I love the bakeries in Squirrel Hill. So we'll see.
I actually haven't been to a Squirrel Hill bakery. I always went to the one that was crap. It's the one that everybody knows. It's around Wallbox area ish.
Oh wait, maybe not.
No, it might not be. What were you gonna say? Because I might be saying the wrong place.
Oh, I was thinking of the place like downtown in what's that square called? With like the steel building and everything.
I don't think it was that.
I don't know. There's one right there that has like a really famous almond tart. Is it Lena's or something like that? Lena's. I don't know. No, but I think that's probably the most famous one in that part of downtown. But then, Squirrel Hill has a bunch of Asian bakeries, which I really like. I like getting some of the
Oakmont. That's what I was thinking of.
Oakmont. What Oakmont? Oh, the Oakmont Bakery. Okay, in Oakmont. Yeah. No, what's the other big one in Squirrel Hill? It's like a Jewish bakery. 5 Points. 5 Points is some of my favorite savory tarts, and probably anywhere I've ever eaten. But 5 Points is pretty famous citywide, and the last time I went there, it was a block long line to get into it, and it's not even like in a shopping district area. It's like in a residential area. You actually walk past like 5 synagogues, and you're like in the middle of like a residential neighborhood, and there's just like a bakery, and then there's just a giant line out the door for it every time.
Yeah, everybody wants some savory tarts. To be honest with you, as soon as you said savory tarts, I was like, interested.
Oh yeah, I guess money.
What are you talking, like mushrooms? What is it?
Mushroom. I've had some onion tarts, so we're actually really good. Like a caramelized with like cheese.
It's like a French onion soup situation.
Yeah, kind of in a tart form, and then tomato tarts are always really good there too.
I've never heard of it. Is that? I'm wary of that because I hate stewed tomatoes.
Oh yeah, you probably wouldn't like it then. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I like tomato sauce. Like I'm a pasta person, but like that has like stewed. A lot of like.
You ever have like a full English breakfast where they cut the tomatoes in half, they fry them in the pan, and they get a little mushier, but it's like charred and delicious as well.
Yeah, that sounds like stewed tomatoes. That sounds
Maybe, yeah. Oh, but they've got other types of. I mean, they've got all your standard breads there, but yeah, maybe we'll head up some bakeries. I really love all those bakeries. There's also the other big one right on the corner, if it's still there, next to the record shop over at Squirrel Hill.
I was gonna say there's actually a ton of record shops in Pittsburgh.
Well, yeah. Well, they've got the two big ones that like are what it's famous for. I don't know. Either way, I'm gonna be playing tour guide. Jerry's. Jerry's is the one I was thinking of. It's right on the corner of Jerry's. But yeah, I'll play tour guide. I love playing tour guide. It's been about a year since I've been to Pittsburgh proper. Actually, it's honestly probably been 3 years since I've been into Pittsburgh proper, despite living there just a year ago. But
oh, really? You went like 2 years without going downtown?
yeah, well, COVID was a thing for a while there, so I went full hermit.
You stayed hermitized a little bit longer than the rest of us.
Yeah.
So you're coming out of your hell now. You're fine.
Oh man, I know. I'm gonna just have to ruin my diet for the weekend. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you said you were keto. How in the hell are you gonna go to bakery after bakery and stay keto?
Well, I like to bring people to these things. Honestly, I've spent so much at most of these bakeries. I've had probably almost everything they've had.
Let me watch you. Yeah. Tell me, how's that cake taste?
Ooh, yeah. No, it's the pepperoni rolls. You ever have like those old atomic there's the atomic pepperoni rolls from
not atomic, I don't know what you mean.
Oh, let's see, where was it at? Jimmy and Nino's? Maybe? Yeah. No, let me see. Oh,
I do love a pepperoni roll though. That's weird. Why? A lot of people.
Can I switch this over? Sorry, I'm trying to bring it up on this. We'll bring the people involved. But these atomic pepperoni rolls are huge, and they're just like filled.
Are they called atomic because there's like spicy peppers in it too?
This one's super hot. They've got normal ones too. Like that was the monster one, and
I mean these look better than most pepperoni rolls I've seen.
These are the pepperoni rolls I grew up with. So when I moved to Pittsburgh, and then they were just like instead giant dough balls with like a scrap of pepperoni in the middle, I was a little upset. These.
Yeah, you're more looking for like a pepperoni stromboli.
Yeah. Oops. Oh wait. Oh no. Wait. How'd that? Oops. It's a video. All right. Yeah, no, but I love these. Yeah, like this. I mean, and they're huge. They're the size of your arm. Like, and they're only like $12, I think.
Dang.
Right? Yeah. So I know. You got to go here. There's the taco stand down the corner. There's the food vendor, the food truck with the Chinese food, like the giant egg rolls. I love a big giant egg roll.
I've never had a big giant egg roll.
Oh my gosh, you're not even living. Where do you got to go to Pittsburgh? Have you ever heard of Pittsburgh before? Send you down the strip district.
I never had a gigantic egg roll. I've been to the strip district a ton of times, except you're talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. I would normally go to like the Italian bakeries, get some black and white cookies and shit like that.
Yeah. Well, Saturday morning is just like. Did you used to go a lot on Saturday mornings with like the hawkers and everything out? Like they pretty much close the street down.
I've been there a few times for that. I mean, literally the only time I would go to the strip is like for Italian cookies, or for Holy's Fish Market, or possibly like the Asian market that's down there.
Yeah. Oh, there's two of them. Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be dangerous too.
Holy's rules. I would go in there.
Yeah. But they actually bought that big long building where you used to park, so they've converted stores and all of that. And I haven't been there since they added all that into the strip district, so I'm excited to go check that out. But that's a little not Fab related. Yeah, sorry for the tangent, but yeah, no, Pittsburgh's great. Go visit Pittsburgh. But
Yeah.
all right.
It's a nice city and kind of shitty state.
Yeah, there's little golden beacons here and there. So all right. Let's wrap this up. I gotta pee so bad.
We'll see you next time. Same Riled channel, same Riled time.
See you later.